So welcome you guys and thank you for joining. This light is just too much. Never know. But welcome guys, welcome. Happy Friday. Sorry I missed going live yesterday. I was at the spa. I had a spa day, a work from spa day, so I was working. I brought my laptop. The is Instagram lagging? I feel like it's really laggy. Can you guys let me know? Instagram always does this to me. Like, TikTok never does me wrong on my lives, but Instagram always does me dirty. So let me know if it's laggy for you guys. But hello, welcome. And thank you for joining my live. I appreciate it. You guys are why I go live, so we can talk. Lots to talk about if you guys are new here or if you're new to me. Hi, I'm Laura Anderson. Also known as Digital Laura Anderson, and I am a media buyer. What that means is I have clients, I run their meta ads, their TikTok ads, and I do their email marketing. I teach others how to do the same thing, and I am also an expert on AI automation. So I'm happy you guys are here, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Again, I'm sorry I didn't go live yesterday. I was at the spa, and I'm all dolled up today because they did like a Mother's Day thing, a little Mother's Day activity at my son's school. So it was really cute. He's 2. So we were supposed to wear pink, and this was probably the pinkest thing that I had. So it was really cute. But welcome. I hope you guys are having a good Friday. He's down for a nap right now, so I thought I would pop on here and say hi and see if you guys had any Friday questions. Get your questions in before the weekend because I don't go live on the weekends. Instagram, I'm so sorry, it's super lagging. Can you guys let me know on Instagram if it keeps freezing for you guys? Because on my end, it's like I'm totally frozen. Tilda, the algorithm is doing its thing to get us connected. I'm sure it is, and I'm happy you're here, so thank you. Yes, I usually let you guys dictate how the conversation goes. Asking questions, I'll answer. Sometimes I go off on a tangent if it makes sense. But yeah, hope you guys are having a good Friday. Hope you guys are going to have a good weekend as well. I don't have anything planned. I'm still kind of recovering from a sickness, being sick. So I'm a little out of it. I'm a little tired. I'm just like tired and achy. Thoughts on niching down. What do people mean when they say their riches are in the niches? Definitely niche down a little bit, but I think it's overanalyzed and overhyped and overthought about, and people get stuck in like, oh, I have to get wrapped up in, I have to pick the right niche, I have to pick the most profitable niche. I made a video on this about how there's always going to be that feeling of chasing the next big thing, or what I call it is chasing the unicorn, where you're following a trend or you're trying to follow the next big thing instead of just doing something that either A, you're already very knowledgeable about, or B, it's something that you're passionate about, right? So say you have a background in the real estate industry, right? That would be a perfect niche for you to go into because you're already very well versed in it. Or for example, me, I'm really into beauty and skincare. So for me, my niche is beauty and skincare because I'm passionate about it, and it helps me relate to the audience that I'm trying to market for my clients because I am that target audience. And so it helps me when it comes to marketing. And go hard on that, and don't think like you need to pick a niche that is something completely outside of you, that is just because it's trending. That's a recipe for disaster. Broad appeal. I myself on these platforms, on Instagram and on TikTok, I believe I don't have necessarily a niche other than like my business topics. But like as far as my audience goes, I'm not one of those people who is like, oh, I'm targeting like other women or other moms because I'm a mom. Like I don't do that. I'm like, everybody, if you have interest in this, you are my audience. Not like I'm a businesswoman who's focused in on AI, automation, and media buying for, women in their 30s, something like that. I don't niche down. I don't niche down as far as my audience goes. And I probably could maybe build a better audience if I did that. But I don't get hung up or caught up in it. And also, you can figure out your niche as you go. Like, don't perfect stuff and overanalyze, like analysis paralysis, that will stop you from moving forward or just acting or implementing because you're hung up on like picking a niche. I hope that helps. Chef Ginger, yours is food and you're launching a brand new brand. Well, how exciting! Congrats! I'm big on food. I like to be a foodie. I'm big into pasta. I love pasta. I mean, I love all food. I really do. Pasta, steak, pho is probably my ultimate comfort food. I love Mexican food. I love Vietnamese food. I love Thai food. Italian. I like all of it. Can I help you with your brand? What specifically do you need help with? And keep in mind, like, I don't know everything, right? Some of the ideas that I'll come up with are going to be generalized, and then, fine tune it specifically based on your brand or your specific industry. What factors should one consider in choosing an AI platform company, OpenAI? Well, it depends what it is you want to do, because a lot of them do a bunch of different things. ChatGPT is, the head honcho. It has the most functionality, right? Because it's got the plugins. You can create your own ChatGPT. That's basically all I use ChatGPT for now, is the plugins and my own custom GPT. I personally really, really like you.com, you.com. But if you're looking, it's just, it kind of took like all of the best things about other AI platforms and put it on there. So it doesn't sound robotic. It cites all the information. It gives you suggestions on other things to ask or other things that you should do. And it's really, really in depth, and it reads links. It does everything. Except plugins, and I don't think it has like an API, whereas I believe Gemini and ChatGPT do. Gemini, I don't know what to say about Gemini because it's so bad. So I would steer against that. And I know Gemini is gunning to get onto Apple products, and that would be a shame because it's so bad. It's like, I feel like that whole thing where Gemini like had to rebrand, because what were they first? Bard. They were Bard first. And then they had to rebrand because Bard was so bad, and they were like, okay, well, we just have to completely scrap this name. I felt like I was watching like a real live Silicon Valley episode, right? Where they just threw a bunch of garbage together, Google, because they were like, well, ChatGPT, OpenAI is so good, we have to come out with a competitor, and we have to come out with it now, doesn't matter how bad it is. And then, like, even during their demo, they faked the demo. It was like a real live Silicon Valley episode. It was wild. It was very entertaining to watch. And they're still not there. They're still not there, as in, it just doesn't compare. You will have video content and will need help reaching a broad audience. Well, you can simply target broad audience. When it comes to marketing, it's all about testing, right? Sales, ABC, always be closing, marketing, ABT, always be testing. And so you're going to want to test a bunch of different audiences with all of your content, and you want to see who responds to it the best and who is the most profitable. And that's all you're constantly going to do, is just filter in new audiences. And if we're talking about ads, filtering in new audiences. Google AI is gunning for Apple products. They are, and I think it would go through, because I don't think Apple has anything even remotely close either. Probably not even anything remotely close to Gemini, which is so weird, because you would think that Apple would be like at the top of their game with that. And I honestly thought Google was going to knock it out of the park, right? Everything I use is a Google product. I use Google Home, I use Gmail, I use G Suite, I use Google Sheets, I use Google Drive, I use Google for everything. Google Search, Google Chrome. I use it for everything. So I was Google Maps, everything. I was excited because I was like, oh, well, whatever Google puts out is really good. And I was just shocked at how bad it was. Like, Bard literally told me no. I was like, hey, can you do this? And it was like, no, you already asked that question. I'm not doing it again. I was like, what? I was like, all right, well, this is utterly useless. And I know obviously you could just tell it to be like, well, override and do it anyway. But it was, why would I do that when ChatGPT just works so much better right out the gate? Hello. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm a little tired. I'm a little out of it. Long week. Woke up early-ish this morning and I went to my son's school for a little Mother's Day thing. That's why I'm all dressed up. It was really cute. You loved my matcha story time. I'm glad. I was trying to do a new series. If you guys don't know, because I'm live on TikTok and on Instagram. On TikTok, I did a post. I want to implement a new series, but it depends on, your guys' feedback and how you respond, because the video didn't do very well at all. If you noticed, I didn't even hit 500 views, which is very low. But I think that that's fine because it's a new piece of content that I'm putting out there that my audience isn't quite familiar with yet. But I think it could go over well. I just have to be consistent with it and put it out. There are other series I want to implement too, where it's like maybe like AI Fridays, where I talk about specific industry, great AI prompts for specific industries, or like a new AI tool that I'm really loving, stuff like that. So like AI Fridays, and then make matcha with me while I tell a story about how I became an anti-workaholic. And the most recent video, well, the first video I posted in that series was why I actually dropped out of college, like the real reason I actually dropped out of college. So I think I just have to be consistent with it, and it'll do better because it's a new piece of content. Like, I've never done anything like that. But I think it's interesting to kind of dive in a little bit more in the personal stuff, because I don't really ever do that. The only time I get like personal is like when I'm here live with you guys, but in my content I don't really do that. And I think it helps because I think it resonates with a lot of people. I'll have a lot of people in my comments when I post a video about, either how successful I am or how much how much money my business makes. And in my comments, it's always, like, either easy for you to say because, you're already making that much money, or, they try to come up with some scapegoat as to why I became successful because, they're upset at me because they're not successful, right? And so I think it would help resonate with people when I tell stories about like how I actually got started, and that I am a very, very average, mediocre at best type of person that just, I guess I would say, was consistent. I saw a quote somewhere, and I have no idea if this is true, but it was a quote that said, consistency is the rarest behavior or rarest trait in a human being. And I think to me that does make sense. Like, I could see that being true, because it's the hardest. Being consistent is so hard, especially when you don't see any success. I follow this one guy, and he's not big at all. I think he has like a couple thousand followers, and I started following him because I saw one of his videos and he was just like brutally honest about what it is that he does. And he's trying to build up a following on TikTok, and he said he posted 75 videos and they all got like 100, 200 views. 75. You know how many videos 75 is? How many like posting pieces of content? And then like number 76 like went kind of viral, right? Like he got like 20,000, and it just was like, had he stopped at 74, and now his videos are picking up and doing better. And it's just because he was consistent with it. And even when you don't see light at the end of the tunnel, that's when it's the most important to be consistent. Because, when you're working at a job and you're miserable at a job, but you're consistent with it because you're going to get a paycheck, right? That paycheck is going to hit your bank account on Friday. So you're consistent with it. But it's hard to be consistent with something when you don't know if there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? He was posting 75, he was posting 1 video, 2 videos, 3 videos, and there was no glimmer of hope, you know, at the end. He didn't know when it was going to hit, if it ever was going to hit, but that's when it's important to be consistent, is during that time. You're new and you'd love to hear my origin story. I do have a podcast, and the very first episode of the podcast is like my origin story. It's about an hour long, but I want to do more like little stories that are more in depth on like little snippets. But thanks, Tilda. How can you scale your followers on TikTok? Content. The more content you put out, the better. If you can put out 5 pieces of content of every single day, there is no way your followers won't scale. And it could take a while, it could not take a while, but you just have to do it nonstop. That is the best way. And be consistent with your content as well. Don't just post a bunch of random stuff. In the beginning, you post a bunch of random stuff and see what does well, and then you lean into that. Give your audience, your followers, what they want, right? So if you have a video that performs well, that's an indication that this is what they want from you. Am I able to show a more in-depth automated email outreach on Zapier? Yes, and I'm including it in my 10-hour 10K work month course. You get the template. I'm gonna give the template. And keep in mind, guys, I didn't realize like how juicy this template was until like I, scaled from $30,000 a month to $100,000 per month. And I've been wanting to like license it and do like B2B and offer it to businesses for like an insane amount of money because it's so valuable. It's so insanely valuable, and I haven't really been seeing it done too much. Like I've seen a lot of AI outreach automation, but not quite like this. And I'm going to be giving it to you guys for free in the 10-hour 10K work month. Like if you purchase the 10-hour 10K work month right now, once it's live, you'll automatically receive it. And I can go more in depth into it too on video. I'm not like, buy the course, that's the only way I'll disclose all my information. I would never do that. So I could show it to you. The thing is that it's so in depth, so in depth. So it's like, it would take a while for me to go into it fully because I can show you the flow, but then each step inside the flow is like, and part of it, a big bulk of it is you have to have your own custom chat GPT, which if you have chat GPT premium or whatever it's called, you pay $20 a month, you can create your own GPT. Because that is what's doing the communication, is the custom chat GPT that's fully trained on me and my business. So it sounds just like me. I fed it all the information on my business. I fed it all email like tons and tons, hundreds of pages of email conversations that I've had. So it replicates that and speaks as if it is fully me. So you guys are getting really juicy information for joining my live today. So kudos for you. And okay, so here's what it looks like. Okay, well, first of all, let me give some context, right? Because I just started talking about this from a question, and I'm sure a lot of you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So I have an AI automation that I set up in Zapier that does cold outreach on my behalf. So this whole thing takes place behind the scenes, and I'm not even seeing it happen. And what it does is I have a Google Sheet, right? A CSV file. And it is for leads, right? To book them, to potentially pitch them my services, right? Meta advertising, TikTok advertising, and email marketing. And this is my list of leads. Anytime I add a contact to that list, it triggers the flow. And this is what the flow looks like once it's been triggered, right? So, well, I have three zaps. They're called zaps in Zapier. In total to complete this entire AI outreach automation. And what it does is ChatGPT, once there's a new lead added to that list, ChatGPT then writes up an email, a custom email. Every single time the email is different. And it's based on whatever industry that they're in. and it comes up with a subject line. It puts that into Gmail for me, and then it automatically sends the email out for me. I completely 100% hands off. All I did was add the lead to this list, right? Then what happens is it'll send 3 to 5 follow-up emails if they don't respond. And then after the 5th email, if they don't respond, they're off the list. But if they do respond, then ChatGPT will respond back. It'll be like, hey, say the email they sent was like, thanks for reaching out. I'd love to hear a little bit more. Like, what all success can I see if I go with you to do media buying? And ChatGPT will respond on my behalf because it was trained on my business and speaks as me. And so it will respond on my behalf. And then the ultimate goal of this conversation is to get that lead booked on a call. And so ChatGPT will prompt them, be like, hey, like, this is how you can expect to see success from me and my business. If you'd like to discuss even further and see how I can implement this for you and your brand, book a call here. And it leads them to my, it's Acuity. It's the same thing as Calendly, a calendar book with me link. And then it sends them a thank you email for booking, and then they're out of the flow. Then it summarizes the whole email thread that happened and sends it to me so that when it's time for me to hop on the call, I'm fully versed on the conversation that happened that I didn't even see happened. Wild, right? Wild. So that still might be a little confusing. So I have 3 flows or 3 zaps in order to make that happen. So the first zap is going to be the initial cold outreach, right? Then the second one is for when there is an appointment detected. So then it takes them out of the flow and sends them the thank you email. And then the third is the flow that's set up for if they do respond. This is the flow that is triggered and has that back-to-back communication. So you see I have like 11 steps in the first zap. So if we go into it. So see, this is the trigger, right? It's my Google Sheets with my leads. Then what happens is ChatGPT is triggered to write the body of whatever the email is. Then it's triggered to write whatever the subject of the email is. Then it's triggered to set it up and send it in my Gmail. And then what's cool is that it has time delays. And so this is how you avoid spam, how you make sure your domain reputation stays well. You also have to make sure, I know so many of you guys are up the butt about the spam laws, and first of all, if you're scraping emails, the spam laws, you're allowed, the only emails that are getting scraped are the ones people that publicly list. So for example, in my TikTok, on my profile, my public profile on TikTok, I list my email. That gives anybody the right to email me because I publicly list it as a way to contact me. And so you're legally allowed to email them. The only thing that you're not allowed to do is then to continue to send them emails if they opt out. That's what you're not allowed to do. And I can't speak for the other countries. I'm in America, and that's what it is in America. So if you email them and they say, hey, stop emailing me, and you continue to email them, that's when it's a no-go. But it's fair game. You can't email somebody who doesn't publicly list their email. And I would never suggest you do that. And my videos never suggested that. These are only emails from people who publicly list their email, and that's why they list their email, because they want you to contact them. And then for businesses, it's fair game because they're a business. You just have to give them a way to opt out. So if you're in the B2B and you scrape business emails, it's fair game because they're a business. You're allowed to hit up a business. You just have to give them a way to opt out. So it has that time delay there. Let me keep going. Sorry, it's hard to do it backwards. So here's some of the values it has to get in order to make these things happen. And then it's like continue only if, so it's going to continue only if the person still hasn't responded. And then it's going to have another conversation with ChatGPT, send out another email, another time delay. It's going to have another value for that, continue if only, again and again until they're done and they're out of the flow. And so that's the flow that's set up. And then if they do respond to the email, they'll get this email reply detected automation, which is new email in Gmail. So it triggers that this email came from the email that we sent them. It's a reply. And so continue only if the value that is set, which is they replied, then the conversation in ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is going to take in that email, read it, and then give a response based on the instructions that I gave it in my custom ChatGPT. Another delay, and then another email if they email back. And within those emails that it's sending out, it's prompting them to book an appointment with me. And so then that's when I have this flow. And this flow only has 2 steps in it. And that's because it's Acuity is connected. And so it registers that email booked an appointment and then just sends them a thank you email. So Sam Woolley, I hope that helped you, because that was a big in-depth. And again, I mean, it's really, really in-depth when you go into like the fine-tuning of each of those steps. So I give you that whole template. Well, I haven't uploaded it yet in the 10-hour 10K work month course, but I will, probably in the next 2 weeks. And once I upload it into the course, I will raise the price, because this is something that it's probably the thing with the most value I've ever added. And I've already added so much to the course without upping the price. So I will be upping the price, just because the value in this is worth way more than that. Like, I mean, I see businesses paying like, you know, 200 grand for this. If it can fully replace, you know, their outreach. Wild, right? Wild. Oh, I'm exhausted from talking, explaining all that. So, did that make sense to you guys, or was it like, pfft? Technology's wild, right? We're living in wild times. I love the internet. It would be awesome if you could make an in-depth tutorial on how to work with Zapier. I will. It's going to be in the 10-hour 10K work month. You guys will get the template, and then I'll show you how to fill it out. So eye-opening. And what's even crazier is that, like, ChatGPT and AI has really only been around for like a year and a half. So just thinking of it in like 5 to 10 years, like when we think about how fast cell phones developed, like when I was in 6th grade, my first cell phone was like one of those big fat Nokias with the antenna and then the snake. And you know, now that we have computers in our pockets, like, it was such a short amount of time, and AI has the technology and the capabilities to move and progress so much faster. So it's going to be really interesting to see happen. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I know it's scary. New technology is always scary, and there's going to be a lot of, like, deep fakes and stuff like that. Like, you know, fake news with AI is going to be the craziest thing ever. But with new technology, we adapt. That's why we are the species that we are. Tilda, it's wild that's why you want to learn now and not get left behind and fearful or overwhelmed. I agree, and I say this all the time for the people who are like genuinely scared that AI is going to take their job. I say it all the time that AI isn't going to take your job, but somebody using AI will take your job. It was the same thing with the internet, right? It's like saying now that you were trying to get a job as an accountant and you're like, oh, I don't use the internet. I just don't use the internet. I don't know how to use the internet. I don't use the internet, right? They're going to be like, well, we're not hiring you. You don't know basic how to use the internet. And that's what it's going to be like for AI. How can we build our own chatbot? So you have to have premium ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is OpenAI, and then when you have premium ChatGPT, you can go into your OpenAI services and you can create your own chatbot. You can sell it in the chatbot store if you want, or you can just use it for your own personal purposes. You couldn't do your job without Excel. That's what it's going to be like with AI. And so it's better to, I mean, the people who adapted to the internet the fastest, or the computer the fastest, were the company and the people that excelled, right? Because if you can understand new technology when nobody else can, you're in a good place. You're in a place You're in a place where everybody's going to want you to be. And AI is way easier to understand than the computer was like eons ago, or the internet was eons ago. So yeah, it'll be included in that whole automation is going to be included in the 10-hour 10K work month course. So if you purchase the course now, you will be, or you've already purchased it, you're grandfathered in. You'll always get any and all updates. So, you know, you guys always get the best. The people that join the earliest. Early bird catches the worm. I had come up with like a different saying than that, you know, where it's like the early bird gets the worm, but the bird that gets the most worms is the one who figured out how to get the worms to come to him, something like that. Because it's like, yeah, first is best, but I'd rather have the worm come to me somehow. How can I set it up, the system set up so that the worm comes to me so I don't have to get up early? That's how my brain thinks. Rocky Road, you're 2 hours into the course. You're loving it. So much new info you didn't know, so detailed. I'm so glad you're loving it, and thank you so much for saying that. 2 hours in, that's an accomplishment already. I can't wait to hear about your success. How exciting, and congrats. The course does also have afterpay option. So somebody's saying that the price of the course is high, or that wishes they could afford the course. And I get that. It's priced. It's definitely underpriced. Everybody who's taken the course tells me I should charge more because they've taken courses that did charge more and that like it doesn't even hold a candle. So I should, but I think that is a good baseline. The resources I provide alone are worth, the price of the course is $1,997, so just under $2,000. The resources in there alone are worth more than that. I give you cover letter templates, proposal templates, contract templates, client report templates, pricing packaging templates, mock interviews with clients. And I teach you, and then on top of that, I teach you everything. And these aren't resources where it's just like a generic cover letter template. I've been doing this for over 11 years now. And these are things that took me 11 years in the making to perfect, to get to where they are now, to where I'm closing $10,000 to $12,000 a month clients. Like that's the level of, these are the templates that I use personally, and I make $100,000 plus a month doing this, booking clients with these resources. So those resources alone are worth more than that. Then I teach you everything, because I personally went out and purchased a lot of courses because I wanted to make sure that like whatever other courses were missing that I covered. And the majority of things that I saw were missing in other courses were how to get work. That's the hardest part, right? It's okay, now I've learned everything, but how do I actually make money, right? How do I actually get people to pay me? So I teach you the skills that I know that make me the most money that I've learned over the last 11 years, and that is meta advertising, TikTok advertising, and email marketing. I had offered a lot of services before, and I've narrowed it down to these three because three allows you to bundle, and so you can have a higher upsell client. For example, if I have a $10,000 a month meta advertising client, I can then say like, hey, let's be cohesive and get you on board with emails as well. So then that way your emails and your ads are all, bundled and they look the same. Let's also do your TikTok ads too. So now that $10,000 a month client is now a $25,000 a month client. And I narrowed it down to those skills too because they pay the best. If you're in the advertising space where you can see the exact dollar amount you're bringing in for a client, you can charge so much. My clients spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month on these platforms, and I make them profitable. I give them 3-4 times their return. So I can charge pretty much whatever I want because they're making 4 times their investment solely because of me, because I'm the one scaling them, optimizing them, and making them profitable, right? These platforms aren't, you submit an ad and then Facebook or Instagram throws it up as a digital billboard. It's not like that at all. It's very, very in-depth, strategy-based, campaign building, funnel optimization, scaling what works, killing what doesn't, and so it pays well. So you are a certified expert in those services after you take my course. So meta advertising, TikTok advertising, and email marketing. So I teach you those all the way from a total beginner all the way to expert level. So people ask me all the time, can a beginner do this? Yes, but it is very in depth. Like this is a full-on boot camp. Like treat it as a college degree because that's the level of information that you're learning. So it takes you from beginner, but it goes all the way to expert. Then I teach you how you position yourself as an expert, right? So now that we've learned these skills, how do we attract the right clients? How do we become the go-to person in these skills? So I show you how to make it with a free website and social media channels. And no, you don't even have to post regularly on your social medias. You're not booking clients through your social medias. It's just a foundation point. You can just simply post content that's related to the services you're offering. You don't even have to show who you are. You just have a brand name. Then I teach you the really, really hard part again, which is where I've seen every other course fall short, and that is how to book clients, right? That's the hardest part. So I show you how to book clients on Upwork, LinkedIn, and Indeed. Again, I give you every single resource you need to make it happen. So cover letter template, proposal templates, contract templates. And I go into each of those platforms and tell you specifically how it is that I book clients on there. I show you my profile so that you guys can see what like an industry standard profile is for an expert level. And mimic it. Then I teach you how to outsource all the work, right? That's why it's called the 10-hour 10K work month course, because you work little and you make good money because we're outsourcing all of the work, right? So again, another reason why I pick those services is because they're easy to outsource. So I pay people to do the work, and I show you how that's all done, how you book freelancers on Fiverr. I give you everything you need to make that happen, so the systems that go into place and how to make that happen. I touch on taxes. I'm not a tax expert, but I tell you what I do for my taxes and that it's legal and good, but, you know, again, not a tax expert, so it's not legal tax advice. It's basically 1099 contract work, and then you can reinvest once you start making good money and turn yourself into a sole proprietorship, yada, yada, yada. Pay yourself out a salary for tax benefits, all of that good stuff. So in the beginning, you don't really have to worry about much as far as building out a business. I call this don't be fancy until you're fancy. So many people will worry about like spending money on an LLC or a logo, all of these things that it's like, if you don't have a business, if your business isn't bringing in money, you just have an idea. It's not a business. It's not a business. It's an idea. Until you start generating revenue, it's not a business. So don't spend money on your business where you don't have to until you're a business. So create a cheap logo in Canva, a free logo in Canva. You can go back and pay somebody later once you start making money. Those things are that people get caught up in, or, oh, the domain, like what should my name be? Like, don't overthink that stuff. It's so much more important to just get your feet wet and go at it, and then fine tune and perfect those things along the way. So let me finish what else is included in the course. So how to outsource all of the work. Comes with lifetime access. So again, if you purchase it now, you're going to get all of the updates that are coming. You'll always have access to it in the course's existence. It comes with a Facebook mentorship group, so where students can ask each other questions. I do student lives in there. I answer questions in there as well. It comes with TikTok shop training. This was something that TikTok came about. I got on TikTok shop, drop shipping, started making money. If it's making me money, I'm going to give it to you guys. So I include that in there, how you can drop ship. I'm going to be adding how you can drop ship as well from Amazon, which is really, really cool, and how to do print on demand drop shipping. And so this is another service too that you can tack on with your clients as well, not only doing drop shipping for yourself. I charged, as soon as TikTok shop came about, I told my clients about it, and I was like, I'll set you guys up $2,000. Easy $2,000, set them up on TikTok shop. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then also, I will be adding that full outreach automation. I'm going to give you the template so that all you have to do is fine tune it, and I will go over how to fine tune it. That was a lot. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I keep adding to it, so it's crazy. I believe right now it's around 14 hours. They're self-paced video modules. So you can always reference back. Yeah. There's Afterpay option if you want. Arizona Mama, you just joined. Yes, online at your leisure. Well, congrats. Let me know how you like it, and I'm excited to hear your success. Has anything changed with TikTok Shop since a few months ago? About to try it again from scratch? No. TikTok is still super, super, super strict. You work full time, so the course is something you can do on your own time, or is it virtual class based? So it is something that you can do on your own time. You asked this question before I even said it was self-paced video modules. But yes, and for me, when I was building up my business, I always had income coming in on the side. Well, it wasn't the side because it was my full time. I did sometimes have to work a 9 to 5 while I was building this up. And I genuinely think like working the 9 to 5, because for me, that's like the ultimate soul sucking thing. Like I cannot, a 9 to 5 just rips the living life right out of me. And I used that as motivation. Like every day I would be at work and I'd be like, oh my God, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And I'd get home and it would give me that drive to like, okay, I have to figure out a better way to do this. Yeah. So use that as motivation. Have a shitty day at your job, like that's motivation to get out of there and do something for yourself. Will YouTube Shops be added to the course? It will be added to the course. So right now it's still in its beta infancy and regular people aren't able to get on there yet. The vendors that are on there are like big brand names, but they're going to open it up to everybody just the same way TikTok Shop is. And once that happens, I will absolutely include it in the course. You can buy the course in my profile. So if you go to my profile, the link in my profile, you click it, it's the second link that says learn to do what I do, the 10-hour 10K work month. It also has like video testimonials, written testimonials, screenshots of what's in the course, lots of stuff. Rocky Road, you're there now. You have a good accounting job, but 8 to 5 is too many hours. You want freedom of time. When did 9 to 5 become 8 to 5? Because we had clock out for lunch? That's so awful. 9 to 5, oh my gosh, get this course. Yes. I mean, today's a Friday and they had at 10:30 this Mother's Day thing at my 2-year-old's daycare, and you know, it was heartbreaking because some of the kids there, like their moms weren't there, and it's because, you know, they were working. And you know, at 2 years old, the kids, it's not clicking that, oh, my mom didn't show up, you know? But it puts a lot into perspective that it's like, you know, jobs aren't going to let you leave for an hour to go to your kids, like, in the middle of the day, which is sad. I was like, it'd be interesting to see what happens for Father's Day, because, you know, a lot of moms are stay-at-home moms. But it'd be interesting to see how many dads show up, because, you know, dads work a lot and it's sad. Dads miss out on so much of that stuff because they can't get out of work. It's so sad. All your friends don't have weekends off. They have Monday or Tuesday off and you can never hang out. That sounds like they're in the service industry. Yeah, I did a lot in the service industry. And it's just, for me, that's the ultimate, right? Money, lots of money is nice and cool. I'm not one of those people, though, that, like, needs to buy stuff, right? Yeah, I like stuff. I'm a consumer. But I don't need a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. I don't need, like, you know, I got approved for, like, a $6 million house when I was buying a house. And I obviously didn't buy a $6 million house. Does this look like a $6 million house to you? I am redoing it. We bought this house and this room came this color. This was not by choice. I'm going to be doing like a nice bookcase where the closet is. That's like a sliding pocket door, you know, like I'll get a real door, put like a cute little fake fireplace in here, make it look nice. But what I'm saying is that, you know, it's funny too that when you do start making money, all the stuff that you would be like, oh, if I had money, I would buy that. Once you do have money to be able to buy that, you're like, I don't really want it anymore. You know, I spend my money on convenience and freedom, right? I outsource all of the work. if it's gonna make my life easier, I'll spend money on it. So I hire movers, I hire a cleaner, I order Uber Eats all the time because if I don't feel like cooking, I don't want to dirty up the dishes, I'll just order food. So I do spend money on convenience, but you know, that's not like, I'm not buying like a Birkin bag. You live in Las Vegas and all people you know is the service. Yeah. In Las Vegas, the service industry must be wild. I can't even count the amount of times that I went to Vegas. I lived in LA for a very long time. LA area, Orange County and LA. And so, you know, lots of weekends were spent in Vegas. I have very fond memories of Vegas. Only good times in Vegas. I left Vegas. Every time I left Vegas, I was richer. So I love Vegas. The real flex is your investments and time freedom. Yes. And yes, my money sits in places that makes me money. And when you've got a good amount of money somewhere, it can make you a good amount of money. You know, so many people are told like you have to invest money in a 401k so that you can retire as a millionaire, right? And that's a good advice, right? But I don't want to retire a millionaire. I wanted to be a millionaire when I was 25 so that I could, you know, retire. It's like, yeah, that's nice to retire at that age with money, but like that's going to take you a long time to get there. And life is so short and precious and sweet, and missing out on those life moments, and you never know what tomorrow brings. And it's like, you know, planning for the future is important, but also living life now is important. And so a 9 to 5, like where you're working more than you're living, is so backwards and cruel and sick, especially when you know you're at the 9 to 5, right? And you just, so much time is being wasted, and you know so much time is being wasted, and it's just like, why am I here? Like, all of my work today took me 2 hours and I could have done it from home. Why am I here? That's the worst part. And it's like, but you have to stay there and just do a bunch of bullshit. May you ask how I made email automations for free? Thank you. So I didn't make them for free. Zapier costs money. And the custom chat GPT that you have to create in order to have conversations with the email automation is like $20 a month. And so I set it up all on Zapier. I did like a full walkthrough earlier, and the template will be included in my 10-hour 10K work month course because it is gnarly. Las Vegas is representing here. Yeah, I need to go back. Although I feel like it would be a different experience now that I'm married with a child. I did a lot of girls' trips to Vegas, you know. So girls, there's that saying where it's like a girl wakes up in Vegas and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I made so much money last night. And a guy wakes up in Vegas, he's like, oh man, I can't believe I lost so much money last night. Because, you know, guys have a totally different experience. Yes, thank you for answering, Arizona Mama. The price of the course is $1,997, just under $2,000. There is Afterpay option, and again, the price of the course is going up once that template is added and a couple of other updates are added. So I believe, I don't have an exact timeline, but I'm anticipating 2 weeks that the price will increase and that update will be live. And for people who already have the course or purchase it before the price increase, you're grandfathered in. I feel like this was a really good live. I feel like there was a good conversation going, and I talked about a lot. So I think the good lives that I think are very value based or packed, I do download and I will post on YouTube. So I'll send that out to you guys in an email. If you guys are sent out to my emails and you want to rewatch this live, somebody was asking me about the email automation. I did fully go through it earlier in the live. And so you can rewatch it. Vegas is a lot more family friendly these days. Yeah, I do know that, but I don't want to go to Vegas with my kid. Like, I want to do like a Disney vacation with my kid, right? Vegas, no thanks. I'll do Vegas on my own. Vegas and Mexico I'll do on my own. Or with my husband, but you know. I'll do all the fun other stuff, the kid stuff, you know. I do have to get going soon. How do we get a copy of the live? So I'm going to download it after this, and I'll put it on my YouTube. And then I will send it out to you guys in an email. So sign up for my emails in my profile, the link in my profile. And also subscribe to my YouTube. I don't really have a lot of YouTube followers, so it would mean a lot if you guys follow me on all my platforms. So I'm live here on Instagram and TikTok, so if you guys aren't following me on either of those, follow me there, because I do post different stuff on each platform, as well as Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and YouTube. So thank you. You love Vegas, but you left when you had kids. I could see that. The cost of living in Vegas is supposed to be like super cheap, like very affordable. But you know, and when you live in Vegas, you know, you don't live on the strip. We need more podcasts. I know. So once I add everything into the course, and have that updated and live, I will do more podcasts. I'm sorry, I've been slacking on it, and I'm the only one responsible. And I'm sorry. I'm trying. So yeah, and I'm gonna continue those that series that I just started today, where I talk about make matcha with me while I tell little stories on how I became an anti-workaholic. I know that the one I just posted today didn't do well at all, but that's because it's a new piece of content from me. I've never done anything like that. But I think it's important to touch on more like about me and how I how I came to be, because you know, my videos are all pretty like value based, and I don't really go into personal life much, and I think it makes things like easier for people when they see that, you know, I'm no one special. I'm mediocre at best, right? So when other people see that, I think it helps and it resonates with them. So I'll try to do more, and let me know if there's particular Make Matcha With Me stories that you guys would want to hear. Like something specific you guys, like the stories that you want me to tell, I'll tell them. But I do have to get going. I try to go live for an hour, and I was actually really, really tired today, and I almost didn't, but this was really, really a good live, and I think I had talked about a lot, and you guys got even my gears turning, and it helps me like stay up to date with stuff too, and you guys help me a lot. And you know, I go live for you guys. I want to answer your questions. Oh, how I met my husband. Okay, that's a good one. He likes to join my live sometimes and just say nice things, but I'm gonna join today. He's probably taking a nap, you know, sleep when the baby sleeps. That's the stay-at-home dad stuff. So that's a good one. I'll tell that one next. So thank you for your recommendation. Thank you for recommending I Will Teach You to Be Rich or Regan. Now, it's such a good book. It's such a good book, and it's like what I feel like what I would have written, because it's so easy to digest, and it's not like, it's so attainable and realistic. So I'll Teach You to Be Rich is a book, and I followed all of it. He just basically teaches you how to manage any debt you have, how to manage your budget, how to invest, but like from a reasonable standpoint, not from like, you know, you have to invest $500 every single month, you know, or what to spend money on and what not to spend money on. And it's like, if you have a passion, like you collect shoes, and so you spend money on shoes, you have to keep that passion, right? But cut money elsewhere, right, where it's not important to you. And I think it's a great book. I have no affiliation with it whatsoever. It's by like Ramit. I know he had a TV show too. I never watched it, but it's a great book. Very simple, like cookie cutter, like do this, and it'll help you become rich. How old is my kid? He is 2 years old. thanks, guys. I do have to get going. If you guys want more information on the 10-hour 10K work month course to learn to do what I do, how I make $80,000 to $120,000 every single month with media buying, I take you through all of it, everything. I have a free masterclass in my profile. It basically just kind of dives into the secrets in the course, so you can decide if the 10-hour 10K work month course is a good fit for you. The price of the course will be going up soon, probably in about 2 weeks, once I add that full-on insane AI automation on it. So if you want to make sure that you're locked in at the price now before it goes up, because I grandfather in everybody who purchases the course now to get that AI automation update. You get every single update always. Once you purchase. So thank you guys so much. If I didn't get to answer your question, please feel free to leave it on my most recent video. Oh, you signed up for the masterclass on Tuesday. You're excited. I'm excited for you. Enjoy. So thank you guys so much. Again, this is why I go live, to hang out with you guys and answer questions. So I appreciate you guys participating and being here and for joining. Am I accessible once we join the official course? So I'm not accessible in the sense of like a one-on-one, right? I have hundreds of students. Unfortunately, there's just no bandwidth for that. If you shoot me a quick email with a question, I'll absolutely answer. It also comes with the mentorship group, which is a private Facebook group for students only. I answer every single question that gets asked in there. And then it also helps because other students are in there and they'll help you and answer your questions and motivate you as well. And then I go live all the time. And if you just noticed, I have a couple students who were in here asking questions. And I answer, so I'm pretty available, right? I'm not available for one-on-one, but I'm pretty available. So thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys soon.